Hey guys, and today we're going to be doing a full review of the 2017 Fiat 500L. With both the hatchback and wagon markets slowly growing in the US, Fiat knew they had to take a chunk of that sales pie. So back in 2014, Fiat introduced a brand new four-door hatchback. That vehicle was introduced in the hopes to snag some more sales from the people who loved the Italian spunk of the Fiat 500, but needed the practicality of a four-door hatchback. Currently, I am sitting inside of that vehicle, the new 2017 Fiat 500L. So, let's see if the 2017 Fiat 500L can still hold its own after being in the same generation for over 3 years. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, but now I have timestamps in the description box below. And I know that this video was a little bit on the long side, and I tried my very best to make it as short as possible, but this vehicle contains so much technology and equipment, and it's just such a feature-rich vehicle, I just had to include it all for you guys. So like I said, don't forget to check out the description box below and zoom to the sections you are most interested in. Now before I get this review rolling, I would like to thank Rick Case Fiat in Weston, Florida for allowing me to review this vehicle for you guys. If you are interested in purchasing a brand new Fiat and live in the South Florida area, don't hesitate to check them out. They will get you into the perfect Fiat in no time. And remember that all of DriveAndBeDriven's reviews are 100% honest and 0% biased. So, let's get started. Alright, so now let's talk about the exterior styling of the 2017 Fiat 500L. So looking at the front end of the Fiat 500L, from stepping back just a little bit, you are going to see that this vehicle does have quite a bit of height to it. This vehicle is just about 65.7 inches in height, which is pretty tall for a vehicle. So once you do get inside, you are going to see just how much that does affect headroom. You are going to get quite a bit of headroom in this vehicle. But looking at the front end design here, you are going to see that you do have these oval headlights right here, which pretty much mimic the Fiat 500 that I did review just a while back for you guys. Now, coming in here, you are going to see that you do have this 500 lettering in there, which looks pretty awesome. And then you also get this strip going all the way around in that same oval shape, looking pretty neat. Now, right here, you do have your projector beam halogen headlights right here. And then if you do come below there, you do have your incandescent, it looks like you have incandescent daytime running lights right here, and then you do have an incandescent turn signal indicator right there. And you also have another one of those strips going around there similar to what's up here. Now coming over here, you do have your halogen fog lights right here. And if you do step back just a little bit, you are also going to see that you do have your chrome mustache right here, which is pretty familiar to the Fiat 500 lineup. Pretty much every Fiat 500 is going to have that mustache grille right there. And you're also going to have your 500 logo right there as well. Now, right under there, you are going to have a grille opening right here, as well as another one right here, and another one down there, allowing for air intake, since this vehicle does have a turbocharger under the hood, but we'll talk about that just a little bit later on. Now, if we do come down the side of the vehicle, you are also going to see that this vehicle has quite a bit of length to it as well. Now, right here, we do have the lounge trim. So the lounge trim is going to be just about 167.3 inches. But if you do go for the trekking trim, it is going to be slightly longer, not because it has more space inside, just because you are going to have just a little bit more rear and front overhang from the extra bumper that it does give you. Looks a little bit more sporty. But if we do look at the side profile here, you are going to see that you do have this window right here that does seem like it does split into two pillars. So it seems like you have an A pillar here and then another pillar right there, and then in the middle you have a window. You're going to see that a little bit more clearly when we do get inside of the vehicle. Now right here you do have these pretty attractive 17-inch alloy rims right here, and these do sort of have like a 10-spoke design here. You have 2 spokes here and sort of like a round design. You also have your 500 500 lettering in the center there as well. Now right here you do have this character line that does swoop up, and then it slowly diminishes right down into the side of the vehicle. Looking at the overall side of the vehicle, you are going to see that it does sort of have like a bubbly look to it, making it look once again a little bit more youthful and fun. Now looking at your mirror cover design here, you do have a chrome mirror cover design because we do have the lounge trim. If you do go for that lounge trim, you will get this chrome mirror design, and I feel like it makes the vehicle look a little bit more premium and upscale. Now right here you do have your door handles, and these are also chrome accented on your lounge trim. And then right below there you also have this chrome side molding right here that does run all the way down the side, making the vehicle look a little bit more premium as well. Now if we do come down the side of the vehicle, you are going to see that you do have this portion right here, which seems to look like the vehicle does not have a pillar back here. So it pretty much makes it look like it does have a pillarless frame right here, like it does have a floating roof line is what auto manufacturers like to call it. And then if you do come to the rear design of the Fiat 500, you are going to see that you do have these round taillights mimicking the front end design. You're also going to see that these taillights are going to be in a C shape, and these are going to be incandescent taillights. You're also going to have your incandescent turn signal indicator in there as well. And then if you do come below here, you do have your incandescent reverse light with a reflector strip going around that in a square shape, pretty much mimicking the overall design that this vehicle is trying to go for. Now if you do step back from that, you are going to see that you do have the Fiat logo right here, and then right below there you do have where it says 500, and then you have an L right there, making it look a little bit more sporty. And then right here you do have a reverse camera, which does come standard on the lounge trim. Now if you do come a little bit further back, we are going to look at the overall width of this vehicle, and the width of this vehicle is just about 69.8 inches, which is pretty wide. Once you do get inside the vehicle, you are going to see that width really play a factor in overall size of the vehicle. It's pretty spacious inside, but coming a little bit closer up right here, you are going to see that you do have this chrome strip right here. It's going to act as your skid plate when you're putting things inside of the trunk right here. And then right below there you do have a single chrome tipped exhaust. You do not have dual exhaust tips on the Fiat 500L, but it does look fairly attractive since it is also still going with that oval design. Looking at the overall design of the Fiat 500L from the rear, you do have to keep in mind that this does have a pretty large rear tailgate right here. The rear tailgate actually is from right there all the way up to the top. So in the event of a rear end collision, you do have to keep that in mind because your bumper is not located up here, but rather down here. So when it does come to cargo practicality and rear lift over height, it is going to be a lot more practical than some other vehicles, but you do have to keep in mind in the event of a rear end collision, you do risk damaging the rear tailgate and the bumper as opposed to just the bumper. But overall, the exterior styling of the 2017 Fiat 500L is pretty attractive looking. I like how it does have lots of accents from the Fiat 500, the smaller version of the Fiat 500. And I feel like Fiat did a pretty good job of making the vehicle fairly proportioned, and also I do like how it does have a fairly aggressive looking front end as well. Now if you do want a little bit more of an aggressive looking front end, you will have to go for the trekking trim, and this is the trekking trim right here. If you do look at the trekking trim, you will see that you do have some inserts right here that makes the front end look a little bit more sporty, and you do have a little bit different of a front fascia design. But coming back to the original Fiat 500L, this is the lounge trim, and I really like how it does have a very youthful design to it. It looks very agile in its design as well, and I feel like it's going to age fairly well over time, and it is going to be very distinctive when it is rolling down the road. Alright, so now let's talk about the pricing of the Fiat 500L. So the Fiat 500L for the 2017 model year is going to start at just about $20,995 if you do go for the base pop trim. If you do step up to the trekking trim, that is going to add just about $2,000, and that is going to be priced at just about $22,995. And then if you do go for that lounge trim, it will be priced at just about $23,695. $20,000. Now right here we do have the lounge trim, and you will see that the base price of our lounge trim is $23,695, and our as tested price once you add the destination charge is just under $24,700. So that's a pretty decent price for what you're getting here. I mean, you just have to keep in mind just how much car you are getting here, and I feel like Fiat priced this vehicle very competitively, and I really like the overall pricing that they did go for. They kept it very simple. You do only have 3 trims as opposed to some of the other years where you did have more trims. For the 2017 model year, you are left with just the pop, the trekking, and the lounge. Alright, so now let's talk about the competition of the 2017 Fiat 500L. So really, the Fiat 500L doesn't really have any direct competitors, but some of its competition can include the 2017 Kia Soul. And the main reason why that isn't going to be a direct competitor is because it's a lot less expensive than the 2017 Fiat 500L. Now, another competitor can be the 2017 Mini Cooper Countryman, but that vehicle is going to be a lot more expensive. Where this vehicle pretty much tops out at, this vehicle does top out at just about $26,000. If you do get the top of the line lounge trim with all of the available packages, it will be just under, I believe, $27,000. But if you do go for that Mini Cooper Countryman, it is going to start at $26,000. So pretty much where this vehicle ends, the pricing of the Countryman does start. So you do have to keep that in mind. Now, in some respects, the Fiat 500L can also compete with the 2017 Honda Fit. But then again, the Honda Fit is much smaller and less expensive than the Fiat 500L. And in some respects, this vehicle can also compete with the 2017 Nissan Juke. Now, the Nissan Juke is very similar in pricing to the Fiat 500L, but it is going to be much less spacious than the Fiat 500L. It is going to be a lot smaller, and the Nissan Juke does classify as a subcompact utility vehicle, while the Fiat 500L does not classify as that. Alright, so right now I am going to be giving you guys just a brief trim level breakdown and pretty much listing just some of the notable standard equipment of the 2017 Fiat 500L. So if you do go for that pop trim, like I said, it does start at just about $21,000. You are going to get standard 16-inch aluminum wheels, premium cloth bucket seats, and you are also going to get that standard 5-inch color touchscreen. You're also going to get that standard remote keyless entry. Now, if you do step up to the trekking trim, which is going to add just about $2,000 more to that price, it is going to be just about $23,000. You are going to get a unique front fascia. You're also going to get unique side door cladding and larger 17-inch aluminum alloy rims. Now, if you do go for the higher rim trim, which is what we have right here, we do have the lounge trim. And if you do go for this lounge trim, you are going to be paying just a little bit more for this trim. It is going to be priced at just about $23,995. And you are going to get 17-inch painted aluminum wheels, as well as leather trimmed interior with 4-way powered lumbar seats, which is pretty cool. You're also going to get heated seats, and you are also going to get your Park Sense, which is pretty much rear parking sensors. So right here, are going to see how they really integrated these parking sensors extremely well into the back of this vehicle. I didn't even notice them at first, but this vehicle is going to come with what Fiat likes to call Park Sense, and that pretty much is their reverse parking aid, which is pretty much going to help in parking, and it is going to be rear sensors. Also, you are going to get that Park View rear view camera, which I did show you earlier, which is going to be located right there in between the 500 logo, and I really like how they well integrated that as well. It's not just sticking randomly anywhere, it fits right in the middle of that 0, and I really like that. And you are also going to get your chrome exterior mirrors, which I did talk about earlier. So you can only get these chrome exterior mirrors if you do go for that lounge trim. So we do have these fairly attractive looking chrome exterior mirrors, which makes the vehicle look a little bit more upscale and premium. Alright, so now let's see what's under the hood of the 2017 Fiat 500L. Alright, so to open up the hood of the 2017 Fiat 500L, you just locate your Fiat logo right here, and slightly above that to the right, you are going to see a little red lever here, and you are going to click that to the left and lift it right on up. Now you do have a pretty light hood here, so it is going to be very easy to open up. And right here you are going to see an engine that looks pretty familiar to something that I did review recently. Now that is going to be very similar to the 2017 Fiat 500 Abarth's engine. Now this vehicle has the exact same 1.4 liter turbocharged engine from that Fiat 500 Abarth, but there is going to be a slight difference. This vehicle is going to produce just about 14 pound-foot of more torque when as opposed to the Fiat 500 Abarth. So this vehicle is going to produce 160 horsepower at a semi-late 5,500 RPM. I would have definitely liked to see that horsepower a little bit early on in the power band, but you do get tons of torque very early in the power band. You do get 184 pound-feet of torque at 2,500 RPM, and there is actually no all-wheel drive option available for the 2017 Fiat 500L, so you are only going to have your power running to your front wheels, and the transmission that this engine is going to be paired to is going to be an ASIN 6-speed automatic transmission. There is no manual transmission available for the Fiat 500L anymore. There used to be a manual transmission available in some of the other years of the 500L, but for the 2017 model year, you can only pick that 6-speed automatic transmission, and 0 to 60 times for this vehicle is going to be just about 8 seconds. So this multi-air Fiat turbo engine can push this Fiat 500L up to speed relatively quick, and that 8-second time is fairly respectable, especially considering this vehicle's size. Alright, so now let's close up the hood and check out the rest of the vehicle. Alright, so now let's talk about the fuel efficiency of the 2017 Fiat 500L. So to open up the fuel tank door, you just put your finger right here and push that right on back. Now you do have a capless design for your fuel tank here, so all you do is take that fuel nozzle and put it right into that hole. You don't have to use any twist cap to open that on up, and I really like how Fiat did go for that modern design right there. Now the fuel efficiency for this vehicle is going to be 22 miles per gallon in the city, 30 on the highway, and 25 miles per gallon combined. And premium fuel is recommended for this vehicle, even though you can still use regular octane gas. And the fuel tank size of this vehicle is going to be 13.2 gallons, which is a pretty decent size, but I would have definitely liked to see a slightly larger tank. So all in all, the fuel efficiency of the 2017 Fiat 500 is pretty decent. Alright, so now let's talk about the interior design of the 2017 Fiat 500L. But first, let's talk about this door handle design right here. So first of all, you do not have any keyless entry for the Fiat 500L. You do have to take out the key fob to unlock the door here. Now looking at the key fob, you are going to see that you do have this pretty attractive key fob design here. This is pretty much going to be used all across the Fiat lineup. You do have your unlock, your lock, and your trunk release button right here. And then if you do click this Fiat logo, it will open up a switchblade key, which I really love the design of. And on the back, you do have some texturing right there. But overall, the design of this key fob does feel fairly high quality, and I like how it's pretty narrow, so it's going to slide right into your pocket very easily. So let's unlock the car by just pressing this button right here. It will unlock just the front doors, and then you just press it a second time and it will unlock the back doors. Alright, so let's open up the door here, and first of all, you are going to see that this Fiat 500L does have quite a large door here. You are going to see that it does come all the way up to right there, so you do have quite a bit of a window right there, pretty large window. So looking at your door panel design and material quality here, you are going to have hard touch plastics on the upper portion, but it does have like sort of like an imitation leather texture to it, so it does look very high quality. Now coming here, you do have leather inserts here, and I really like the look that Fiat does go for. It sort of has like a dark gray and a light gray mixture to it, so it does make this vehicle look a lot more premium. I really like the look of that leather. Now right here you do have all of your power necessities for your windows. You do have auto up and down, it looks like, for both your front drivers and your rear passengers, which is a pretty neat feature. And then right here you do have a little cubby right there, and right over here you do have your door handle design. It is sort of like in that oval, similar to how the taillights and the headlights are shaped, and it does open up just like that. And then right here you do have your mirror functionality to pretty much move your powered mirrors. You do use this little knob right there. And right here you do have a little sub-tweeter right here. Now this vehicle does come with the Beats premium audio system, which comes standard on your lounge trim. So right here we do have that very large Beats speaker right there. And then right in here you do have a you do have a little pocket down here. And you also have a bottle holder here, but it looks just a little strange. It looks like it does have the cutout for a bottle holder, but then you have like the normal design right there. I'm not quite sure how a bottle will fit in there. I'll test that just a little bit on later down the road. But overall, the design of the Fiat 500L's door is pretty high quality looking. I do like how you do get that leather insert here, but I would have definitely liked to see a soft touch material on the upper portion of the door. Alright, so now let's talk about the seat comfort inside of the 2017 Fiat 500L. So sitting inside of the seat here, you are going to see that you are sitting pretty vertical. It feels like more like you're sitting on a chair as opposed to sitting inside of a chair. So that is going to make you feel a lot more, have more of a commanding view of the road, if you will. Now, sitting inside of the seats here, you are going to have 8-way seats. You are going to have manual adjustability for both your forward and backwards here. You are also going to have manual adjustability for the back rest here, and you are also going to have your manual adjustability for your height, so you can lower the seats here and raise the seats as well. And you're also going to have powered lumbar support, which I really like, so you can make the seats a little bit more firm and supportive, or a little bit less supportive and a little bit more cushy in feel. And I really like that feature that Fiat did add to the 500L. Now, on the seats, you are going to have a leather wrapped surface here, and it is going to be perforated in the center portion here, and the outer bolsters are going to be leather wrapped. But overall, the seats do feel fairly supportive as well. Around turns, it should be fairly supportive, and I really like how the seats do have a slight plushness to them. They are a little bit more on the firm side, but they do have a very comfortable feel, and I do like how supportive they do feel. They do feel like you're very secure in the seat, as opposed to you're going to be sliding around all around the seat. And I do really like the seats in here. Also, if you are going to be a little bit wider in your stature, these seats are going to fit perfectly, since the bolsterings are quite a ways away from each other. So I do also like how Fiat did do that as well. Alright, so now let's hop on right inside of the 2017 Fiat 500L. So stepping right inside the Fiat 500L, you are going to have a very easy step-in height, since this vehicle is going to have a lot more higher seats inside of the Fiat 500L. Now, your roof line is also fairly high as well, so hopping right inside of the Fiat 500L is going to be extremely easy. Now, I did want to show you the controls on the Fiat 500L just a little bit more in depth. So right here you do have your lumbar support right here, and you do have your heated seat controls. These are going to be your height adjustability. This is going to be your seat back controls, and your forward and backwards adjustability is going to be located right there. So overall, I really like the overall setup that Fiat did go with these seats. One thing I would have liked to mention though is that I don't like how they did put the heated seat control right here. I would have liked for it to be somewhere over there in the center console area, because oftentimes I do forget it's here, but as you get used to the vehicle, you will pretty much become acclimated to where that button is located. Now on the driver's side, you also do get your tilt and telescopic steering wheel here as well, which does have a decent range of motion. So you just pull this down and you can see that you can pull this out and push it in, and you can move it up and down as well. So just have a decent range of motion there. I would have liked for it to have just a little bit more motion when it did come to up and down, but overall the motion for the steering wheel is very accommodatable if you are a tall driver, a short driver, etc. All right, so let's hop right on back inside of the Fiat 500L and let's close up the door. And it has a semi-solid sound to it. When you do close it, it does rock the car back and forth quite a bit. And it does have somewhat of a thud that doesn't seem, it seems very solid, but it could be a lot more solid. Then again, you do have to keep in mind that this vehicle was first introduced for the 2014 model year. So right here we do have our key fob design that I did show you earlier. So we're just going to open up our switchblade and let's insert it right into the ignition. And I do like how the ignition is facing towards you as opposed to facing that way. So let's just put it right on in here and turn the key. Alright, so it's going to play that little beep chime right there, which I'm not a huge fan of. I would have liked for Fiat to use a slightly different beep chime, but it does serve its purpose. Alright, so coming to this side of the dashboard design, you are going to have leather wrapped stitching going on right here, and this is going to be the same leather wrapped stitching that you do see over here on the door panel. And right over here are also going to see that you do have this accenting that does go around your AC vent as well as your AC vent control, which does have another accent on it right there. And you're also going to have your opening and closing for that vent as well. Now, moving over here, you are going to see that you do have your steering wheel design here, and it does sort of look like it does have like a square shape to it. I'm not sure if you guys can tell that this does look like it has a square shape to it. And the main reason it does look like it has a square shape to it is because Fiat does curve in this stitching line right here a little bit more vertical, making it look like it does have a square steering wheel, but the steering wheel is in fact round. Now coming over here to the left side, you are going to have your hang up and your pickup button controls right here. You're also going to have your mute button for your radio as well as your voice command button. So let's press the voice command button real quick. So you do have to look here. She doesn't say anything like say whatever. So we do have to press that again.
Cancelled.
Tune to FM 99.1.
Tuning to 99.1 FM.
So you can see that the Fiat 500L's voice command control does pick up your voice fairly well. Now coming over here to the right side of the steering wheel, you are going to see that you do have your cruise control buttons here. You can change all of your cruise control features right there. Now right here, you are going to have your airbag cover, which does have your Fiat logo in the center, and it does have a slight texturing to it, so I do like how that feels there. You're also going to have this piano black insert going around there in that square shape, and you're also going to have a square airbag cover. Now this is going to be hard touch plastics here, but let's listen to the horn real quick. And it does have a pretty loud horn here as well. I do like how the horn sounds very confident. It doesn't have anything like a squeaky sound to it like how some other vehicles can sound. Now looking at your gauge cluster design right here, you are going to see that you do have a very simple and easy to read gauge cluster design. You do have your speedometer on this side, and it does count up in increments of 20, and it does go all the way up to 160 miles an hour. And you do have a red needle on there, and I do like how it does have a red needle right there. Alright, now moving on to this center portion right here, you are also going to see that you still have that white face design with the red needle, and you also have a black portion in the center there, and that is going to be reading your fuel tank capacity right there. So you can see that this fuel tank is pretty large, and then that is going to be your coolant temperature. And then coming over here, you are going to have your tachometer, and your tachometer's red line is going to be at 6,000 RPM, but when you do rev this engine, you are going to see that it only really goes up to 3,000 RPM, which is Well, it's okay. I mean, this vehicle is obviously more oriented towards fuel efficiency as opposed to performance. And then right here you do have this monochromatic screen here. Now, some competitors do offer a full color screen right here, but you are going to get this small monochromatic screen here, and it is going to tell you park, the temperature outside 97 degrees, the speed that you are going, how long, that pretty much is going to be your trip computer right there, and then it's going to tell you the time that it is outside. And pretty much the gauge cluster design right here is pretty simple and easy to read, and it does match the overall design of the Fiat 500 fairly well. Alright, so now moving on to your center console design right here, you are going to see that very up and central right here, you are going to have your 6.5-inch Uconnect touchscreen right here, and all you have to do is press radio. You'll go straight to radio. You have all of your radio presets at the top portion right there. You're going to have AM, FM, and your SXM satellite radio right there, and you can also press right here and type in the radio station that you do want to go to. And I do like how this screen has like a low gloss finish to it, but the colors are very bright, vibrant on it. It does have a black and red accent to it, pretty much matching how the Fiat logo does go. Now below there you also have your media button, so if you do connect a device such as your phone to this vehicle, it will connect your phone right there. Now if you do press nav right here, it will take you to your navigation setup. You can press where to, and you can pretty much press address and go exactly where you want to go. So you press spell city, you spell the city that you want to go to. And then if you do press back one more time, you can press view map. So let's look at the map real quick. And the map rendering and quality looks pretty decent on the Uconnect system. You do have a 3D display right here, and it does not support pinch zoom. So you do have to move around by using your finger here, and you do zoom in using this button right here. So it'll bring you in a little closer, bring you out a little further away. And I do like this screen. It's fairly responsive and it works fairly intuitively, and I do like how it does have that 3D setup, so it does look like a little bit more 3D, but the graphics could definitely be a little bit better. It is very simplistic here. You do have your streets here and then your lakes right there. I would have liked to see a little bit more color and vibrancy, but overall it does get the job done, and where you have to go, this thing will definitely take you there. Now if we do go back out of there and we do press phone, you can connect your phone right here, and then if you do go to more, it will pretty much just show the temperature outside, which direction you are facing, which is west, and then your music information. If you do have any media sources paired up to this vehicle, it will show right up there. Now coming below that section, you are going to have all of your AC controls. So you do have dual zone climate control on the Fiat 500L if you do go for this lounge trim. So you can pretty much set what you want this to go to, 60. So you can change that so it does go to low, or you can turn it all the way up to a little bit warmer. And the buttons do have a little bit of a clicky feel to them, but they do feel very high quality, so I do expect this to pretty much hold up fairly well over time. Now coming over here, you do have your fan speed, and just watch this LED right here. So you do have an LED that does move with the knob, and I really like that. And this AC can get pretty powerful as well, so this AC is going to cool you down fairly well. And then right here you do have your AC on and off button. The zone that you do want the AC to blow on you at, you can just turn off your AC by pressing that button. It will turn off the AC. And you also have the same control on this right side that you do have on this left side. Now on this left side you also have your window defrosters as well as your in-car circulation for your air. And then if you do come over here to the right side, you do have your auto button, and you can sync as well. So let's say I put this one to 67, I can press sync, and it will sync both temperatures to each other. I'm not sure if you noticed that, but let me turn this back up. Let's put that to 73, and let's put this down to 67. So if I press sync, it will sync both of them to 73. So if you want both sides of the car to have the same temperature, you don't have to try to locate the same number. Just press sync and it syncs them right to each other. Now if you do come down here, you do have a little cubby right here. So I am going to see if my phone does fit in that cubby. I do have a Samsung Galaxy S7 here. So here goes my phone. We're going to see how this does fit in this cubby. And it is protruding out of the cubby quite a bit here. I'm not sure if you guys can tell, but it is protruding out quite a bit. But you do have to keep in mind that my phone is quite a big phone, but I feel like any phone will be protruding out from here. Also, I would have liked for Fiat to make this maybe slightly further out, come a little bit further out, and I would have liked for them to add a wireless charging pad right here. I feel like that would really make this vehicle have a little bit more of a premium factor to it. Now, if you do come over here to the left, you do have your auxiliary port as well as your USB port right there as well. Now, if you do come below there, you are going to see that you do have your 12-volt power outlet right here. You do have a single 12-volt power outlet right there. And then below there, you do have two cup holders that are the same size right here. Now, I did bring two water bottles here. I do have a 16-ounce water bottle right here, so you are going to see how this does fit in these cup holders, and it fits no problem inside of these cup holders, so that is a pretty good thing. And I also brought a larger water bottle. This is a giant 1-liter water bottle, and we are going to see if this does fit in that cup holder as well. So if we do put that in there, it also it fits there fairly well. I mean, it doesn't go all the way down to the bottom, but if you do have a large bottle like this, it will fit there, and that's pretty good to know. So if you are a person that does like to drink out of these huge water bottles, you will have no problem fitting it into the cup holder inside of the Fiat 500L. Now, coming behind there, you are going to have your transmission here. This is going to be your gear selector, so you do have your piano black texturing on the top right there. You do have park, reverse, neutral, and drive, and if you do click it to the left in drive, you will be able to have your manual shiftability mode, so you will shift up to go up a gear, and you will pull it down to go down a gear. So right here it does say park, reverse, neutral, and drive. So if I do put my foot on the brake right here, and I do put this vehicle into reverse, you will see that you do have a reverse camera here that has decent rendering. The rendering does look a little low quality. I'm not a huge fan of how this rendering does look. And if you do turn the wheel, you do not have any trajectory, but you do have your distance markers right here. So you do have red, yellow, and green to pretty much indicate how close you are getting to certain things. So if you do put the vehicle right back into park, it will bring you right back to this screen. Alright, now coming below there, you are going to see that you do have a button down here, which is going to be your electronic stability control off button, so you can turn that on or off right there. And then if you do come below there, you are going to have your e-brake. So your e-brake is sort of designed in somewhat of a very unique way. You are going to have this e-brake here that is hard touch plastic, and it is this very large portion right here. So it's not the most ergonomic thing to use as your e-brake, but it does get the job done as well, and that's another quirky feature that Fiat did decide to put inside of the 500L. Now, if you do come above that, you are going to see that you do have this center lid right here. Now, this is going to work as both your armrest and your center console. So Fiat doesn't give you any center console here. All you do get is this little portion right here, which does open up. All you do is press this button right here, and you lift it right on up. And it is also pretty small. I mean, I'm going to see if my phone does fit in here. And my phone does fit in there, so if you do have your phone, just slide it right in there. So there's no need to put your phone in here, because you can just slide it right on into this center area. But then again, I would have really liked for Fiat to add a much larger portion area right here to rest your arm on and store some more stuff, especially since they do have the room here. If they do make this not so clunky and make it maybe an electronic parking brake and place it maybe right here on this button, they could make this a lot larger. But overall, the interior design of the Fiat 500L is pretty neat. I really like how it does have a very spacious feel. I am sitting all the way back, and if you do look forward, you can see that I can't even touch that front pillar right there, and I'm stretching with my back all the way back in the seat. So you do have lots of room to breathe and move around. Now, if you do look at the materials up here, you do have smooth plastic here. It's not soft to the touch, it's just smooth. It is a hard touch plastic here, but it does look fairly high quality. You are going to have leather wrap stitching though, going all the way across the dashboard all the way down to that side and running right below there. Now, if you do come lower in the portion, all of this is also going to still be your hard touch plastics as well. So Fiat did sort of make a happy medium between the two. You do have your hard touch plastics as well as your soft touch plastics, and up here is also going to be hard touch plastic, and it does actually feel a little cheap up here, but you do have to keep in mind when are you ever going to be touching that far up in the dashboard? I can't even reach it. So for Fiat, putting hard touch plastics up there is totally acceptable. Now on the upper portion of the dashboard, you're also going to have this AC vent here as well. So this AC vent is going to send the air to the back seats, since in the back seats you do not have any AC vents back there. So this AC vent right here, you just switch this open and it is going to blow air to the back seats. So I do like how Fiat did add that inside of the Fiat 500L. But now let's talk about the visibility inside the Fiat 500L. So sitting back, looking to the left, you do have this very open pillar right here. So it is sort of like a pillar that is split into two pieces here, and I feel like it doesn't really obstruct your visibility. Some people were saying how it will obstruct your visibility, but looking right there, it doesn't seem like it's too much in the way. I mean, it does look like it's a little bit in front of you, but overall it does seem like it's mostly to the side of you, and this is also going to add a lot more visibility as well, so you can have a lot more cornering visibility right there. Now coming to the side here, you are also going to see that you have huge windows right here. The windows actually are below my shoulders, so you have tons of visibility out the side here. Once again, you do have that split A pillar right there. Moving to the side here, your B pillar is not that thick either. It's actually a pretty thin B pillar design. And then if you do move on to the right, towards the right side right here, you are going to see that your visibility out the back is pretty decent. Your headrests are pretty large in the back, but you do have that pretty large rear window right there. So your C pillar is decently thin, and then you do have your D pillar back there, which is a little bit on the thick side, but by no means is that terrible. So overall, the visibility inside of the 500L is very accommodatable, and I feel like Fiat did a fairly good job as to making this vehicle as pretty much easy to park and maneuver around city situations as possible. Now if you do come up here, you are going to see that you do have a conversation mirror. So if I do pull this down right here, you can see that you can't talk to anyone behind you, talk to your kids in the back seats or whatever, and you close that up. Now if you do come over here, you do have your light switch. So all you do is press this button right here, and that is going to be an incandescent bulb. You don't have LED lights in here. I would have liked to see LED map lights in here, but overall that functions fairly well. And then right here you do have your mirror right here, and this is, I believe, your auto dimming mirror, because I believe this mirror is auto dimming. So you do have your auto dimming mirror right there. And then if you do come over here and you pull this portion down, you are going to see that you do have a mirror right here, and it does not have a light. I would have liked to see a light on here, but you do have this mirror that is pretty large, and you can put any business cards or pictures that you do want in this little plastic insert right there. And you have the same thing on the passenger side as well. So overall, the interior of the Fiat 500L is pretty neat looking. All right, so now let's move on to the passenger side of the Fiat 500. All right, so let's open up the door here, and let's hop right on inside. And the door, like I said, has that same thunk as you heard on the driver's side. It could obviously be a little bit more solid, but like I said, you'd have to keep in mind that this vehicle was introduced for the 2014 model year. But sitting on the passenger side is very similar to how it is on the driver's side, but you are going to have this shelf design on the Fiat 500L. So you are going to have a tri-center portion here. So you are going to have a glove box on the top right here, so you can pretty much slide your phone right on in there. So you have tons of places to put your phone, and this is actually a pretty deep compartment right there. Now below there you also have another center portion here, so you can throw little knickknacks in there. I did throw in my headphones right there, and if I do close that portion up, you do have another portion down here, and if you do open that on up, you do have a pretty deep glove box here as well. This is a bin size glove box right here, and up here is a cubby design, and this is just an open portion right here to throw any knickknacks in. And it does have a a rubber texture to it, so it is going to be very easy to clean out and to pretty much put things in there and prevent them from sliding on out. Alright, so I do have my tissue box here, and we are going to see if this tissue box does fit inside of the Fiat 500L's glove compartment. So let's first try to put it in this bottom glove compartment here. And in the bottom glove compartment, it is not going to fit, unfortunately. This glove box is just too big to fit inside of that glove compartment. Now, if you do come to this upper portion, it is also not going to fit in that upper glove box either, and obviously it will not fit into the center one. So this is obviously very practical, but when it does come to my tissue box comparison, pretty much to see how it does fit inside of here, it is not going to fit. Now, if we do look over here, you do have that same AC vent design right here. You do have that metal accenting going around with your AC vents right here, and this is also leather wrapped for this portion right here. And down here is the same thing as found on the driver's side. You do have your Beats audio system, and you do have your auto up and down windows for the passenger. It is not actually auto up, it's only auto down. And then right here you do have a cubby right here to put anything you do need to put in there, as well as another one to put whatever you want to put in there as well. All right, so now let's check out the back seats of the 2017 Fiat 500L. All right, so now let's check out the back seat of the 2017 Fiat 500L. So to open up the door, you just put your hand right behind here and click the button behind and pull it out. Now, the door does open up fairly wide. It does have fairly wide opening to it. So looking at your door panel design here and material quality, you are going to have hard touch plastics on the top of the door panel, but it is going to have that leather graining to it. Now, if you do come to the center portion right here, you do have your silver painted sort of a metallic like door handle right here, and around there you are going to have some more hard touch plastics as well as your sub tweeter. And if you do come over here, you do have your leather armrest right here. So I do like how that leather armrest does carry over to the back seats. You also have another little compartment cubby right there, and you do have your auto down window, but your window is also not auto up in the back seats. And then if you do come down here, you do also have your Beats audio system back here, but it does not say Beats on it. I would have liked for it to say Beats back there so you can impress your rear seat passengers. But coming down here, also have your bottle holder back here, which also doesn't look like it's that functional. I mean, I do have to see how my bottles do fit in there, but overall that should be fairly functional. And then if we do come over here, you will see that you do have another design line cue coming all the way up right here, making the interior of the door look just a little bit more playful and have a little bit more of that Fiat vibe to it. So let's hop on inside. Now, hopping on inside of the back seats, you are going to have no problem hopping on in here, and also getting in here, you are going to feel that the seats are quite a ways off the ground. You are going to be feeling like you are definitely sitting inside of a seat. I really like how it feels in the back seats of the 2017 Fiat 500L. So let's close up the door here. And it also has a pretty solid sound to it. And it's just amazing how high up you are sitting in the back seats. I mean, in person, it seems like you're just sitting in this extremely humongous car, very high up and spacious. These seats offer tons of under thigh support. I really love the thigh support that these seats do have. Also, the side bolstering could be a lot more. You don't really have any side bolstering, but under the thighs right here, I really love the extension that you do have here, as well as the leather wrapped, and it's very supportive. I really love how supportive these back seats are. Now, you also do not have any side bolstering here as well for your torso. I would have also liked to see that on the 2017 Fiat 500L. But sitting back here, you do have a decent amount of foot space under the seats there. Actually, my legs are so high up off the ground, I feel like I barely touch the ground. I feel like a baby in a car seat. But sitting back here, the seats are, like I said, very similar to the front seats, semi-firm in the feel, but they do still have a very plush and supple feel to the leather. And the center portion is going to have that perforated portion, and right here is not going to be perforated. Now, if you do look at your headrest design here, very similar to the front seats, you do have that same gray leather found on the dashboard inserts and the door inserts right here on your headrest. The headrests do have a pretty plush feel to them, and you are going to have that gray leather going all the way around there. And if you do come over here, you do have another headrest for the center seat here. And if you do pull this portion down here, I would have liked to see a little strap here because it's a little difficult to pull that down, but once you do pull it down, you do have this very small center console armrest similar to what's found up there. But one thing that is going to be different is that this one does not open. You just get a little mini cup holder right there. Now, I am going to see first how my normal sized 16-ounce water bottle does fit in here. And putting that in there, it does fit, no problem. Now let me take that on out and let's try our much larger 1-liter water bottle right here. And that also fits. Wow, these cup holders are very accommodatable. I really like how large the cup holders actually are. Now these cup holders, like I said, this vehicle only comes with 1 cup holder in the back seat. I would have liked to see 2 cup holders, but this 1 cup holder is extremely large and very accommodatable. You can hold this humongous 1-liter water bottle right in there, no problem. Now, if you do come down here, let's come right back down here, and we are going to see how our 16-ounce water bottle does fit in there. And if we do grab our 16-ounce water bottle, fits in there, no problem, but it does fall around in there. So like I said, this cup holder is sort of awkwardly shaped, and we are going to see how this much larger 1-liter fits, and your 1-liter fits perfectly. So I feel like the Fiat 500L sort of shaped its cup holders for the people that really love to drink water, because this 1-liter water bottle, I have not found really a cup holder that this thing did not fit in inside of the Fiat 500L. So with the very big space, actually this vehicle, very fun fact here, this vehicle is just about 46% larger than the Fiat 500 that I did review for you guys earlier. So there's tons of space here. It's pretty much double the Fiat 500 space. Now, if we do close this on up, like I said, this is leather wrapped. It's very plush in its feel and does have a smooth leather feel to it. Let's close that on up. And let me sit in the center portion here. Now, sitting in the center area here, the seats have somewhat of a awkward feel to them. I'm not a huge fan of how they feel in the center, but they are very accommodatable. The back seat, though, is very firm and not the most plush feeling that I would like to feel. Also, your headrest doesn't come up as high as I would like it to go either. It feels like it stops right there, so it is sort of jabbing me right in the back. I would have liked for that to be mounted just a little bit higher. And also your backrest isn't the most plush. Now, your bottom seat is not the most comfortable feel for the center, but it is plush. It's plush, but the way that it's shaped, it just isn't the most comfortable, but it is a lot more comfortable than a lot of the other cars that I have sat in. Now, the floor here is also extremely wide. You're going to see that you have a very wide hump, and it's pretty much really showing this vehicle's width right here. So if I do put my feet up on that hump, it's going to have no problem in the air. And I really like how you can possibly fit 3 people. No, actually no problem. You can fit 3 people all the way across inside of the Fiat 500L. So let me move on to the right side here. Now, if I do move on to the right side, I do have this seat all the way back in its tracks, as far back as it can go. And you are going to see that I still have tons of legroom right here. And the headroom inside of the Fiat 500L is also pretty good as well. So I am going to turn this so you guys can see the headroom inside of this vehicle. You can see that I have quite a bit of headroom here. Look at all of that headroom that I do have. Now, I am 5'10", so if you are slightly taller, you should fit here no problem. And if you are slightly shorter, you're going to have no troubles fitting in here either. Now, this seat I did have adjusted to my height, so I was sitting up there, and when I did sit there, you did see that I did have tons of room right there. I could fit like 1/3 of my arm right there, so there's tons of leg room right there. And if you were to be touching this is also leather wrapped for your knees. Now, you also get 2 mat pockets back here, so you do have 1 mat pocket right there, and you also have another mat pocket right there as well. And you do get a 115 volt household power outlet right here, so that's a pretty neat feature. Now, if you do come up here, you are going to see that you do have this light right here, and if you do click it to the right, it will turn on. If you put it at the center, it will pretty much turn on when you do open up the doors, and if you push it all the way to the right, it will turn off. And this is an incandescent light up there. And also, you can get a dual pane sunroof inside of the Fiat 500L. So just in case if all of this glass wasn't enough for you, you can get even more glass going all the way across the top of the vehicle as well, making it even more open and airy inside of the Fiat 500L. Alright, so now let's check out the cargo area of the 2017 Fiat 500L. Alright, so now let's talk about the cargo practicality of the 2017 Fiat 500L. So to open up the trunk of the Fiat 500L, all you do is hold down this button right here on the key fob. It will flash your hazards right there. And then you just put your hand right under the 500 logo all the way down here right above your license plate area. You are going to press that and open it on up. So you do have to bend down quite a bit to open that on up, but once that does open up, you can see that it's an extremely large rear tailgate right there, very huge. So you are going to have a very large opening right here to your trunk. So right here you are going to be looking at 22.4 cubic feet of space with the rear seats folded up. And then if you were to fold down the rear seats by just pulling this little tab on the top of the seats and pushing it right on down, and you are going to see that it does flip up like that. And I really like how the Fiat 500L does have that feature. So I'm just going to come right here and fold it right on down, and it's going to fold all the way on up like that. So it isn't going to be a flat fold, but it is going to be a fold and then a tumble. And if you do that, your cubic feet of space is going to be 68 cubic feet of space with the rear seats folded down. Now if you do come to the back seats here, you can push this back down like this, and your rear seats will still stay folded. So you can push that down if you don't want them to tumble forward. You can still keep them folded as well. And like I said, that is going to be 68 cubic feet of space. Now I am going to see pretty much how this vehicle does fare in my how much stuff can you fit in that trunk segment. In my how much stuff can you fit in that trunk segment, we are going to see just how practical this vehicle is. But based off of the numbers, 22 cubic feet of space with the rear seats folded up and 68 with it down is pretty good. Now looking inside of the trunk right here, you are going to see that you do have this little cubby right here that you can store whatever you want inside of. You're also going to see that you do have a net right here, so you can store any knickknacks that you do want in that little net there as well. Now if you do come on this side, it's pretty much mimicking that other side with the cubby and the net. You're also going to get this little Beats logo right here, letting anyone who's putting things in your trunk know that you did get that Beats premium audio system. And then you can lift up this floor right here. So if you just grab right here, you can slide out the floor and you can put it onto this second stage right here. And as a result, you are going to get a flat floor right there. So Fiat did think of that, and I really like how Fiat did think of that. So you will get a flat floor from the cargo load floor to right there, and you are going to get some space underneath as well to store whatever you want. Now if you do lift up this floor right here and you slide that on out of the way, you are going to see that you do have a fix-a-flat kit right here. And then to the right of that, this is where you would pretty much put your spare tire if you do get a spare tire. Since the Fiat 500L does not come standard with a spare tire, you do have to get that as an add-on. So overall, the trunk area of the Fiat 500L is very practical. Now there was one more thing that I did want to show you. So if I do open up this door right here, I did have this seat all the way back in its tracks, and you can see that even though the seat is all the way back in its tracks, your seats in the back still fold down no problem whatsoever. So you aren't going to get stopped by hitting here. It is going to go all the way down, and that's mainly going to be due to this vehicle having a pretty decent amount of leg room in the back seats. So all in all, the Fiat 500L is a very practical vehicle if you are looking for a vehicle that is very functional and will pretty much be a go anywhere vehicle. The Fiat 500L is a pretty neat choice, especially since you do have that two-stage right there as well as those tumble rear seats, and you can fold down those rear seats from the rear tailgate as well as this extremely large rear tailgate, so you can fit pretty much anything in there since it is such a very wide and large opening. Now, when you are going to close the rear tailgate, it is a little bit on the heavy side. Now, I am closing this with one hand with the camera in my other hand. If you do have two hands, it should be a lot easier, but with one hand, it is a little bit difficult. Alright, so now let's talk about the safety of the 2017 Fiat 500L. Now, the 2017 Fiat 500L didn't receive any IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards. Now, this vehicle did receive a poor rating in the offset frontal crash test. Now that is just a little bit disappointing, and I have a feeling that may have to do to this vehicle having that two pillar, a pillar right there, so it's two pillars there. I feel like that doesn't offer enough support, as well as it having a fairly short front overhang for the entire vehicle. The front hood, rather, the crumple zone does seem a little bit on the short side, and Fiat probably didn't strengthen it enough to make it as strong in the IIHS's crash tests. Now, all the other tests from the IIHS, this vehicle did receive the highest rating of good. But this vehicle doesn't come with any front crash prevention system. So if you are looking for anything like pedestrian detection, frontal crash avoidance systems, lane keep assist, lane departure warning, anything like that is not going to be available on the Fiat 500L. The only thing related to that will be available on the Fiat 500L will be your park sensors, which is pretty much your rear parking sensors, as well as your reverse camera. And you also get your blind spot mirrors on the Fiat 500L as well. Now, four-wheel disc brakes are standard on the Fiat 500L, so you aren't going to have any drum brakes, so it is going to result in the Fiat 500L getting pretty decent braking distances. And 7 airbags are also standard on the 2017 Fiat 500L, and that is going to include your driver's knee airbag. Now, like I said, the Fiat 500L isn't going to be the most safest vehicle out there, but it's definitely not the least safest vehicle out there. So you do have to keep that in mind. Now, obviously, the safety could be a lot better if Fiat did strengthen that frontal portion there for the small overlap crash test. I would actually really recommend this vehicle, but that safety rating is really difficult to look past. Also, I would have liked to see those front crash prevention systems as standard on the Fiat 500L as well. Alright, so now let's talk about the ground clearance and towing capabilities of the 2017 Fiat 500L. Now, the ground clearance of the Fiat 500L is just about 4.7 inches. So pretty much from the ground right there, if you are looking at the ground and to the bottom of the car, is going to be just about 4.7 inches. Now, this is not an off-road vehicle, and all-wheel drive is not available, but if you are planning on just going off-road just for a little bit, like on a little bit of a gravel road or something like that, the Fiat 500L should be no problem. Now, if you are comparing this to something like the Kia Soul is going to have 5.9 inches of ground clearance, and the Mini Countryman is going to be a lot more trail-worthy with ground clearance of 6.3 inches. Now, the towing capacity of the Fiat 500L, well, it doesn't have a towing capacity. It is not recommended that you do tow with this vehicle, because if you do put anything back there, it is not going to go that well, especially since this vehicle does have a 1.4 liter turbocharged engine. That's not the most ideal engine for towing. Now, if you are wondering about the wheelbase of the 2017 Fiat 500L, pretty much which is from the center of this wheel to the center of the wheel down there, it is going to be just about 102.8 inches, which is just around 1.5 inches longer than something like the Soul, and just about 3 inches shorter than something like the Mini Cooper Countryman. Now, the turning radius of this vehicle is going to be just about 16.15 feet, which is much tighter than pretty much all of the other competitors, so it is going to be very easy to maneuver in parking lots and tight city situations. And the weight of this vehicle is going to be 3,254 pounds, which for comparison is very equal to something like the mid-size sedan, for example the Toyota Camry. Toyota Camry is just around the same weight as something like this Fiat 500L. Alright, so now let's talk about my recommendation. So personally, I will step up to the trekking trim of the Fiat 500L for about an extra $2,000 to get more of a sporty exterior styling. I really love the exterior styling that you do get with the Fiat 500L in that trekking trim. Now, if you do want a little bit more of a premium looking vehicle with some more premium features, I will definitely go for the Fiat 500L with the lounge trim, because the lounge trim is going to give you a lot more of those luxury amenities that you will expect out of more of a upscale and premium vehicle. I'm just not a huge fan of the front fascia of the lounge trim, but obviously that is very controversial. If you like the front fascia of this vehicle over the trekking, obviously we'll go go for this, and if you like the front fascia of the trekking over the lounge, you would probably want to go for the trekking. But overall, I would definitely go for that trekking trim, and if you do want those premium features, definitely go for this lounge trim that I do have right here. All in all, the Fiat 500L is a decent choice if you want a fuel-efficient, spacious, and relatively easy-to-maneuver hatchback wagon. Despite its lacking advanced driver's assistance technology, it outstands its competitors when it comes to the overall dimensions and its somewhat premium factor. From its very bold and striking exterior styling to its fairly functional and easy-to-use interior, the 2017 Fiat 500L is a pretty adequate choice in the very uncrowded compact hatchback wagon segment, and may just deserve a spot on your shopping list if you're in the market for a new, stylish 5-door hatch. Well, that's it for this full review. Comment and tell me what you would like to see in future videos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. This is Marcus, and thanks for watching Drive and Be Driven. Keep it positive, and I'll see you next time. Are you confused as to how this vehicle got this overall rating? Click the link in the description or go to DriveAndBeDriven.com to get a full explanation as to how the Drive and Be Driven overall rating is calculated. You can become a Drive and Be Driven driver today. Just simply click the subscribe button and you will become a part of the Drive and Be Driven circle. Subscribing will allow you to stay up to date with the Drive and Be Driven YouTube channel. Thank you to all of my current Drive and Be Driven drivers for driving me towards my goals and dreams. Stay subscribed for more awesome videos like this one.